Virginia Tech owned the ACC for years. Now Florida State by far the best in a bad conference. Mark Rogers TV on Thursday night's matchup in Blacksburg with Florida State number 10, 8-1, taking on Virginia Tech 4-5. What happened to the Hokies? They won the ACC again last year, went to the Sugar Bowl. Sure, they lost in Michigan, but the defense was dominant in that game, and they returned 9 starters from that unit this fall. Plus quarterback Logan Thomas. Well, he's underachieved. 53% completion percentage, 13 TDs, 12 picks. That's a bad ratio. Of course, he's lost the dynamic playmaker at running back David Wilson to the NFL's New York Giants, plus some key veteran contributors along that offensive line. So the target has been squarely on Logan Thomas's back, and he has not been able to respond. The offense has already turned the ball over more times this fall than all of 2011. And couple that with the defensive effort. Again, 9 starters back, and they've turned over the offense just 14 times. That's 10th in the ACC, 72nd in the country. So they're minus in the turnover margin, and this program was number 1 in the country just 2 years ago. The defense has been really lousy in the last 5 games. 4 losses in which they're giving up 36 points per game to Cincinnati, Clemson, and also North Carolina and Miami. So not exactly outside of Clemson, murderer's row, but 36 points per ball game given up by the defense. Okay, they're going to shake things up in response on Thursday night. There are going to be defensive switches and changes all over the place. The most notable, junior J.R. Collins, who had 6 sacks last season, not getting the job done at the rush position defensive end this year. They're moving him inside to tackle for Thursday night against Florida State. Now for the Noles, one of the dominant teams in the country. An NFL scout said recently in the past few weeks that this roster has more NFL-ready players than anyone in the country outside of, you guessed it, Alabama. Florida State quarterback E.J. Manuel is second in pass efficiency in the country to Colin Klein. This team is averaging 7.7 yards per play. That's number 1 in college football. They're the only team in college football that's in the top 3 in offense, defense, and special teams. They have dominated everybody gun to gun, except that 4th quarter in Raleigh. They led North Carolina State by 16. They blew the lead. They gave up the late drive and blew it on 4th down to Mike Lennon and company 17-16. So 1 loss in the ACC, and that does it. That does it for Florida State's national championship hopes. So we've got some numbers and some trends for you. At Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech has won 7 straight. Now, that's not unusual for a successful program in the ACC, and Virginia Tech has certainly owned the conference, but at the same time, the Hokies have lost 7 straight on the road, so 7-0 versus 0-7. Florida State is giving up points on the road. They've been dominant for the most part, but they are only winning their 3 road games by an average of about 8 points per game. So, if you go with the trends, Virginia Tech's possibly going to hang in there. If you go with the talent, it's certainly on the side of Florida State. We like the talent. Florida State wins this one and covers 13.5. Noles 34, Hokies 17 in Blacksburg. Need to hear from you now on Florida State, Va Tech on Mark Rogers TV.